Hello, YouTube. This is Jack Jaguar, and we're here with.
Aidan.
And what did you do?
So I got third at our lead sneak peek, or case tournament, and I played Kashtira.
Nice. And how did you like the deck this format so far?
So far it's feeling pretty good. I want to do some more testing against Voiceless Voice for sure, but otherwise it feels pretty good.
Gotcha. We can go ahead and get into the main deck if you want.
So I played the 3 Unicorn, 3 Fenrir, 3 Rise Heart. I opted to play the 3rd just to make sure that I have enough names in deck. Anytime, like, this deck only really loses when you don't see names.
Yeah, and I think it's appropriate as well right now.
And then the 1 Scareclaw Cache and the 1 Ogre. I know some people don't play the Ogre, but honestly it's one of the, like, it's like the next best name after, like, honestly, after these, like, 4-9, like, this is the next best name. And because I'm playing Ogre, I did opt to play the preparations. I know some people cut these, but honestly, they're so strong. Like, preparations pretty much functions as a 4th birth, and in certain matchups like the lab matchup, being able to rip a card out of the hand, it just comes in so clutch. And then Ogre does so many things, like being able to, like, if you're not able to OTK going second, being able to use it to essentially, like, pick your opponent's next draw is so crazy. And honestly, when you have Shang plus Ogre, it can function really nicely as just, like, holding the pop that you'll get off of Wraiths off and just using it with Ogre pretty much when you have Shang.
Yeah, we love Ogre Prep over here, for
These
sure.
cards are crazy. I love them so much.
Yeah, I don't see myself ever taking those out.
No.
If I do, I always miss them every time.
Always. They're so clutch. And then obviously the 3 Planet, 3 Birth, the best card in this deck by far.
100%.
Like, anytime my opponent can clear the monsters but they can't clear the Birth, I win. 3 Theoses. Going second, I almost always just cut one of these, but it's pretty necessary to have this, especially for the hands that you draw, like Rise Heart or Ogre instead of Fenrir or Unicorn. You just, like, need Theosis to, like, get access to these guys. 1 Terraforming, obviously you want as many possible ways to, like, the good ones. And then 3 Prospe. This was all crazy. I wouldn't cut any of these cards. Like, they all do, like, such important jobs in the deck. I will say, going second games 2 and 3, or 2 or 3, I almost always just cut one of these. Like, I would just side these 3 out, pretty much always.
I agree.
And then going first, they just come back, like, they just come right back in.
Yeah. For me, that was one of the reasons I cut Tearlament's Kashtira's, because I always sided her out, but every time I would go first again, I just didn't want to put her back in going first, so I thought if I'm never putting her in game 2 or 3, then I shouldn't play her at all right now.
I always, like, Tear Cash was, like, I only played it when Unicorn was at 2, and even then it was, like, the most mediocre name. Like,
yeah,
it didn't really do a lot. It was only really nice if you drew Shifter plus it.
Exactly.
Because then it would be a way to just banish the top 3 off of your opponent's deck and see what they're playing.
After a Rise Heart too,
Yeah. So, but now that Unicorn's back to 3, like, I don't think you need Tear Cash.
No.
I don't think you need names that bad. I would sooner play another Scareclaw Cache than a Tear Cache.
100% agree.
And then for non-engine in the main, obviously you play the Shifter. It's not even like, you don't even just lose the games you don't see it. Like, it can be important for some matchups, but in general, like, if Shifter ever gets banned, I don't think this deck dies.
Not at all, no. They would have to take Birth for it to actually be dead, in my opinion.
100%. If Birth ever goes to, like, 1, this deck is, like, super weak.
Yeah.
And then 3 Ash, 3 Mourner. Because I'm playing Shifter, I can't warrant playing Veiler. Like,
Me neither.
Mourner, it's the next best option, but because Shifter, like, I know Veiler's way better than Mourner, but it just conflicts with Shifter, and I can't, like, I'd rather play the Shifter than the Veiler.
I totally agree. Jung Won's tried to get me to play Veiler, and I can't, bro. I just can't.
I don't think it's worth it. Like, it's good, but Shifter's better.
Mm-hmm.
And then I played 3 Nib and 3 Veiler. Nib was like the only hand trap that I was like super scared of drawing it without a way to still play.
Without a birth, usually?
Yeah, typically it's just without birth, or even like trying to use a cross to dig for a birth, or hard drawing Rise Heart plus Theosis. Like, this is the only one that's like I still think you have to play it, but it's the only one that I'm scared if it's like I don't have a way to play with it.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, I was happy with these. I wouldn't cut these from the main. They're the most like versatile hand traps.
Mm-hmm.
But I was overall just really happy with these guys. For the extra deck, the one Shang, I never missed the second one. This to me only really comes up in lines where you have access to the planet. Otherwise, I never find myself making this. Dad, he is debatably the best card in the extra deck. He does so many things. He's so good at cracking boards. I love the line where you make him going second, attack with him, and then main phase 2, use all of his materials to start like going after cards, and then making the Zeus on top of him, and then just clearing anything that's left. And then Big Eye, I don't find myself making him all the time, but sometimes he's just like that extra piece to try and like outboards. I did use it in the tournament specifically against Voiceless Voice. After I cracked all the interruptions, I just used like 2 remaining cash bodies to make this and steal the Skull Guardian. And that felt pretty good, especially because Skull Guardian's a 7, so you can use it to keep like Ixie summoning.
Yeah.
And then Harmonizer. This has a lot of utility, and I think like it might be your best end board option as far as Xyz go into Tempai, because if you just put a fire under it, they have to make their 10 to force it into attack position.
Yeah.
And even then, they won't be able to clear it. So it saves a lot. I wouldn't cut it. I think it's pretty necessary. And against other like graveyard heavy matchups, being able to just detach and start taking stuff feels really nice.
Yeah, I like it for taking Saphira for Voiceless or Low, whatever they have.
Yeah, just being able to like eat a lot of those resources out of people's graveyard can just be super clutch. And I think like even against something like Fire King Snake Eye being able to eat Garunix, against Snake Eye being able to eat Oak, stuff like that can just be really nice. And then I played the Flare Metal. I never went into time, so this card could probably be pretty much anything else. I'm debating the Infinitrack Mountain Smasher, just as like a good card to go for a Zeus, but I worry that I won't have a time card, and you kind of do have to have them. But if I was ever going to cut this, it's probably going to be for a Mountain Smasher.
Good. I support that 100%.
And Draco Sack, it outs Floodgates, but otherwise I do play the Cybers package, so this being able to just set up an end board can be really nice. But I don't think it's cuttable even if you don't play the Cybers package, just because you kind of need a card that can out something like a Stone Blade. And then the Zeus. Zeus is Zeus. And Typhon. I like Typhon especially because even after your Xyz locked, like it's still something you can possibly go into when you're trying to crack boards. And then SP, the 2 Link Spiders, G-Golem, Heat Soul, Access Code, and Appaloosa. So for the Cybers line, going second you go for the Access Code, going first I would go for Oppo. Because of the... Like I was playing this line before Baron got banned, But now that Baron's banned, like now you can fit both of these rank 4s. Before, Baron would always just eat up one of these slots. Like you couldn't really like cut anything for the Baron and keep like this whole package. But now you get to play both. This came up to go for game quite a bit. I never managed to end on the Appaloosa, only because I would get nibbed, but I only ever went for this line if I didn't draw Shifter and I hadn't used Birth already. If I've already used Birth, I'm not going for this line. Like that. If they nib you and you used Birth and you're going for this, like you just lose like once the nib hits the board.
I agree.
But I do really like being like the option to try and end on a two negate oppo and like Birth Fenrir. It's such a solid end board. I would keep playing this for sure. I'm always happy with it. I know other people aren't quite as happy with this, but it's my favorite.
Yeah.
Why do you think Ice Barrier was the first one?
And another big thing is like these 6 are perfect pros banishes without it taking away from like any of your utility cards.
That's why we're gonna get the best card that TCG gets in every single set in this Rarity Collection too.
And then for the side deck, I played Roll. This is the one card in the side deck I'm gonna change. I never sided it in. It never really mattered. Like I was kind of afraid of like any deck that just like really just like pops off searching as combo heavy. But it does also have the Veiler thing where like it conflicts with Shifter. But almost any matchup where this would be really good, so is Shifter. And I think Shifter overall is more beneficial than Roll. So I would cut this in the future. I don't know if it would become a hand trap or just like a board breaker, but I wouldn't play it. And then I played Ogre. These did come in a lot. They were really helpful for the voice-to voice matchup for sure. And I did put them in against Tenpai, and it was really nice just hitting the field spell. And after you hit the field spell, like the rest of your interruptions can eat up the monsters. And then I had Bell. I never sided these in, but these in theory were pretty much exclusively for lab, and this deck can struggle like against lab boards. So I would never cut these. Like you kind of have to have some stuff to respect lab in this deck. And then I put in Cosmic Cyclone. This card performed really well, especially because I played against mostly voiceless voice. Like this being able to hit the thing that protects the targeting, the barrier, is really nice. And then against some other matchups, like you can just put these in to try to eat back row. And the last card was Solemn Judgment. Every time I went first, I put these in. Most of the cards that Kashtira hard loses to are board breakers, like even land things. So like, I need something that can potentially just beat if I get even beat. And there isn't really anything outside of this that's like perfect for going first and beats evenly.
I think that's pretty solid. I also like the Cosmic Cyclones. I think they're great this format.
I was super happy with them. I definitely wouldn't cut them. They're super versatile. Like they just go up against so many different matchups. Like it was just a phenomenal card. I almost always sided it in like first or second against the matchups where it mattered. I do think that this Droll might just potentially be another card that just like can help you auto when going first. Like I think Cash just naturally plays really well going second. So I think this might just become D-Barrier or something along those lines, just like another auto win type of like going first card.
I think that's solid. I like that. Perfect. And how many was the main deck?
Main deck was 40. I don't think you can afford to go over 40, just because Cash, like, it just already can brick just when you don't see a name. So I think you have to stay at 40.
I agree. I think that's smart. Well, thank you for doing the deck profile. Do you have any shout-outs before we close out?
Just shouting out Ghost Gaming, great locals, phenomenal. I love playing here.
Alrighty, well, thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.